sommes allés visiter l'Université d'Édimbourg dans le but de rencontrer deux professeurs pour nous renseigner sur le nationalisme écossais. Ils nous ont décrit le type de nationalisme, plutôt démocratique qu'identitaire, qui a poussé le SNP à déclencher un référendum en 2014.
Very conventional here to refer to nationalism in Scotland as a liberal form of nationalism or civic nationalism as opposed to ethnic nationalism. And that has partly to do with, Britain itself is historically one of the, seedbeds of modern liberal democracy, and it's not surprising that something developing within it would have a lot of the same properties. But it's also the case that it's because there isn't a really strong, sharp linguistic difference with the rest of Britain. There's Scots, which is like a dialect or a variant of English, and then there's Gaelic, which is a very small minority language in the Highlands. So you don't have that, and you no longer have a strong religious difference between the countries. So that means that those things are not there to kind of carry the identity as strongly as they might have in times past. So it really is built around democratic politics and actually divergence in average political views around the state of, the purpose of the modern state, particularly kind of left, right, social democratic versus more market-driven understandings of what the state should do. Generally, in the north of the UK, people are a bit more social democratic, a bit more to the left, and that's generally true of Scotland as a whole. And so I don't know if you want to qualify that.
Yeah, well, not qualifying. I agree with everything Jonathan just said. Maybe just add a couple of things. Another way to think about it is as strongly related to institutions. So one of the things that happened when Scotland became part of the union of what is now the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland was it kept some of the distinctive institutions that it had before when it was independent. And these are still, to varying extents, quite strong. So things like related to education, so the education system is quite distinct, both in schools and at higher education level. The law, so there's a distinct legal system in Scotland compared to other parts of the UK. The media, there's quite a distinctive media as well. And also religion, so a different sort of established church, although with secularisation, as Jonathan's pointed out, that's no longer a very important thing. Then there's also lots of little institutions existing below that, so you find that Scottish gets tagged on to a lot of things. So, for example, rather than just having a trade union movement, there's a Scottish trade union movement and things like that. So everywhere you look, there's that kind of institutional level. And the other thing I would add is you get a sense of the kind of nationalism it is if you look at things like general attitudes to immigration and minorities and things like that. And that's where you see a big difference. So quite a lot of people who know very little about politics and society in the UK and Scotland will look and see, well, there's a party called the British National Party, which is quite far right, generally anti-immigrant party. There's another one called the United Kingdom Independence Party, which again is a broadly right-wing party, more an anti-European, anti-EU party. And then some people just leap to the conclusion that, well, the SNP must be like a Scottish variant of them. But it's not. It's actually quite a sort of pro-immigrant, pro-minority, sort of liberal left sort of party, which sort of ties in with what Jonathan said about nationalism in Scotland being predominantly a liberal sort of civic nationalism.